thirsty and shouting, and Jesus made me whole. Folks don't understand it, can't you see the truth? Bubbling, 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 bubbling day and night. I wonder what I could do from this. Oh. Look at that! I didn't know it did that. Oh, I just turned. Do this. I haven't done that before. It's bubbling in my soul. I'm thirsting and shouting since Jesus made me whole. Folks don't understand it, nor can I keep it quiet. It's bubbling, 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 bubbling day and night. Now, I don't know if you've grasped it by now, but my topic is about joy. And you know, one of the things that I think about when I think about joy, when I'm back home, we were getting ready to go to the fair, and I hadn't really met my little nephews, my grandnephews. And this one little 2-year-old came into the house, and everything was bustling, and you just couldn't keep him down. Everything was like, he just wanted to touch everything, and everything was so exciting. And oh, there was this new toy, and this new friend, and this new person, and he was just so excited, and I just couldn't help but just stare at him. I just wanted to keep my eyes on him. And everything was just such a wonder. And then when I was in Target the other day, I saw another little 2-year-old boy, and he was just going like this down the Target aisle, and so I joined him. I said, hi, this is a really good way to go through Target. And I thought it was just because they're so happy, and they just can put aside some of the things, that take away our life's joy. And we don't want anything to steal our life's joy. And one of the things that has really affected me in the last few weeks, I heard this quotation. And it is that for the Christian, joy is the posture by which we face our existence. Now, before I really explain all that, I want to add this one other quote, which is from Dr. Joel Aldrich, that kind of gives us a broader view of joy. Joy, as a way of living, is a hard-won victory over entrenched attitudes of apathy, pessimism, doubt, unbelief, and despair. Is joy just a feeling? Or is it a resonant and pervasive tone, like a ringing in your ear? Now, I said that to Abby, and Abby says, but ringing in your ear is kind of a negative thing. And I said, well, but when your ear is ringing, you can't ignore it. You hear that ringing in your ear. And joy should be something that is pervasive and residing within you that you can't ignore. So it's like that ringing in the ear. And Webster says joy means to rejoice. It is great pleasure and delight. It is the expression of showing that delight. And interestingly enough, the definition for delight is the power of giving great joy or pleasure. So to give great delight, as Christians, joy is the posture by which we face our existence. Now, posture, when you think about posture, my mother always would say, now, Diane, stand up straight, stand up straight. That's kind of what we're thinking. Posture is the way things stand. It's an attitude or a frame of mind. And, posture can be assumed unconsciously. Sometimes, kids, we get into this mode and we let our posture just kind of slip and go. Or we can, stand up straight, but our mood often will present our posture. It's like a mood or an emotion that when we think about joy, I've used the term taking up residence. A mood and emotion can just become a part of who you are. And we have to be aware of the posture that we are wearing as Christians. A posture can also be made intentionally by carrying out a particular purpose. Joy is a decision. The scripture tells us in James, count it all joy. Uncle Eugene says in the Message, we call him Uncle Eugene because Andrew spent the day with Eugene Peterson once, so we like to kind of claim him a little bit, and he was a wonderful man. But this is how he says it. Consider it a sheer gift friends, when tests and challenges come at you from all sides. You know that under pressure, your faith life is forced into the open and shows its true colors. The stand that you take, the posture of your existence is revealed through those pressures that come along our way. All different kinds of trials and temptations, it says it. When all kinds of trials and temptations crowd into your life, my brethren, do not resent them as intruders, but welcome them as friends, realizing they've come to test your faith and produce in you the quality of endurance. We're going to look at Hebrews 12:2 for just a minute. When we think of Jesus and what kind of a posture that he displayed for us, it says there, lay aside, and all through Ephesians it talks about putting aside the things of the flesh. Lay aside every encumbrance and the sin which so easily entangles us, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us, looking to Jesus, the founder and perfecter of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame. Now, when we think of the race, like it says, run the race that is set before us, I instantly think of chariots of fire. Here we are by the water. You know, we think of chariots of fire and those guys running on the beach, you know, or we think of those sprinters that are exhilaratingly running, you know. He says, I run because the Lord sees pleasure when I run. And much of that is wonderful running and exhilarating. But in this particular scripture, the word for race, or the word alongside with the race, is the Greek word agon. And yes, we get our term agony from this word. The race would be seemingly an unending marathon. It was not a pleasure to run this race. And the only reason that one would choose to run this type of race was but for the great prize that was going to be at the end of the race. And it says, but for the joy set before him. It was the joy of knowing and doing the will of his Father, and the glory that his Father would receive as a result of his accomplishment. All that Jesus did for us here on earth would bring great glory to his Father, and then he would be able to go home and be with him. But for the joy set before him, this would be a joy inexpressible and full of glory. Anything we endure in this life for the cause of Christ will not be without purpose. We will often go through many things, sometimes from our own personal choices that we've made in life that will cause us trouble, and we will have the consequences accordingly. But when we are doing something and cause grief because of the choices we made for Christ, it will never be without purpose. We run the race for the same reason and reward that Jesus did, and the glory of the Lord will shine through. Our scripture in Ephesians says, awake, O sleeper, arise from the dead, and Christ will shine on you. We need to cling to the prophetic scripture that is found in Isaiah. Therefore the redeemed of the Lord shall return and come singing unto Zion, or come joyfully shouting, and everlasting joy shall be upon their heads. They shall obtain gladness and joy, and sorrow and sighing shall flee away. What we need to be praying, you need to pray this for us, as I'm not there with you, and you need to be praying that a great showing of delight will be our frame of mind, and that the power of the great joy and pleasure of knowing Christ will take up residence within us, and his light will shine through us. Joy will be the posture by which we face existence. You make known to me the path of life. In your presence is fullness of joy, and at your right hand are pleasures forever.